Yeah, session number 1. Let's go. We're so freaking locked for this. Okay, so today, I think for the first YAP session, for the first talk, it's gonna be about my favorite thing ever, and that is movies. And talk about why I like movies, why other people should like movies, why going to the movie theater is probably the best experience you can have for less than $30, for less than like $40. Most fun, all that jazz, right? So, first thing I want to talk about: why do I like the movie? Why do I like movies? Why do I like going to the movie theater all the time? And my answer for that is people. I think there's a beauty to being able to talk and have a conversation with other people, and I believe movies are a phenomenal gateway. Many of you probably know that I watched over 800 movies last year. 673 of those, I believe, 677, one of the two, somewhere around there, were brand new movies that I had never seen before, right? And so I think watching all those movies, I watched them not only because I wanted to, but because it's a gateway. I watch so many movies that most people, when they say, "Oh, this is my favorite movie," I can talk to them and be like, "Oh, yeah. I can converse with these people about the movies that they like." And I think that's really beautiful. Not only that, but movies are also one of the best forms of art and storytelling. There is obviously writing, the best form of storytelling. But I think for many, movies would be their personal favorite, because I know sometimes when I'm reading, I can get distracted and I start thinking about whatever I'm thinking about, and my brain continues reading, but my thoughts and my mind isn't actually reading. It's just following the page. And I think that can be kind of crucial to the stories that you're reading. And I think for other people, there's like that thing, I don't know what it's called, where you can't picture things in your mind, right? So you're reading and you're just reading these words and trying to understand what's going on, but if you can't picture what's going on, then you don't know you don't see the full picture. You don't see the full idea in how you want to see it. So I think movies can be so great for people who can't imagine things in their own mind, because the movie and the director and the cinematographer and the writers, they all do that for you. And you get to experience and enjoy the same story as the people who can read and picture and process these thoughts, right? So that's obviously an amazing part about movies. Community, so many movies. So, like, you can talk about, I could be talking about one movie, you could be talking about another, but just because they're different movies doesn't mean they have a different message necessarily, right? Different message, different meaning, all that. Like, you can still talk about movies, even if you haven't seen it. You can be like, "Hey, I've always wanted to see that one. I found this, and then you can like bridge to other parts. I think that's another phenomenal part about movies and talking to people. No, I watch a lot of movies because I enjoy them, because I want to make movies, and I want to make movies that have meaning and that do something to people. Like, some movies will do something that happens cognitively that we don't even understand or recognize sometimes. Sometimes you have to sit and think about something. Same as music, same as pictures, art, writing. All these things, they can affect you, and you might not even realize it until you actually sit and think on it. I remember back in 2020, at the start of 2024, I believe, no, 2025, start of 2025, I went and I saw Better Man, which, if you don't know, is a movie about Robin Williams, and he's portrayed as a CGI monkey, and basically goes through his life from kid to whenever. And throughout the story, we see him gain and rise to fame, and then he starts getting addicted to drugs, and he's just like, oh, he hates himself, his wife leaves him. And throughout this, we see him go, and he goes and performs, and then in the crowd, and we see past versions of himself telling him, you're not good enough, you're not great enough, whatever, right? And so when I first watched that, I cried. I don't know why I cried. I cried watching it, and I was like, why the hell did I cry? So I went home, I thought about it. I realized, this means something, trying to get over your past and prove to yourself that, my past doesn't define me. And I realized that, and I was like, dang, that's a deep message, right? And that's just great storytelling in itself. But also, like, sometimes when you have to think about something, you see the bigger picture. La La Land, obviously, my first time watching that, I didn't like La La Land the first time, believe it or not. First time I watched it, I was like, I don't like this. I didn't like musicals, and I was like, everybody says this is such a great movie. I'm going to watch it again. I watched it again. It's now my second favorite movie of all time, right? But every time I watched that, I learned something new, Like, second time I watched it, I was actually, like, caring, and I was like, dang. I realized, like, main message. Sometimes the people who are meant to be together can't. Right? So that's obviously the first message, the biggest message that you find. Then you watch again, your second message, you're like, dang, like, do what makes you happy, right? Don't let others control you. Do what you want to do. And we'd see that with Sebastian and his new jazz club. He wanted to go to Mia's performance, but he stayed back to do the photo shoot. He had the choice, and he stayed back. He did what somebody else wanted him to do rather than what he wanted, right? Then the fourth time I watched it, I was like, I find new things. Most recent time I watched it, there's a scene, and it's Mia auditioning for the role that shoots her career up, and she's asked to tell a story, right? And you don't think about it. You don't really listen. You just hear the vibe of the music and the piano in the back and her wonderful voice. But you think about it more and more, and you hear the lyrics, and she's talking about how her aunt was an alcoholic. And that's why throughout the movie you see and you watch, and you'll see parts where Mia doesn't have alcohol, but everyone else around her does. And that's because she doesn't drink because her aunt was an alcoholic, right? And, like, that's great storytelling. It's beautiful. And that kind of means something to me when you can tell so many stories without actually having to say, like, oh, yeah, my aunt was an alcoholic. You slide these things in where it's like you piece it together, but you don't really, it's not like the main focus. Where, like, some movies, like, I'm going to use The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for an example, you're jamming in all these different things. Green Goblin or Electro, Rhino, all this stuff, Gwen dying, you're jamming all this into one thing, and you're just like, what the heck are we doing here? Right? Because, you're just jamming all this in, trying to tell all these different stories by being direct. But sometimes the best storytelling is the indirect storytelling. Like the Lego Movie. Obviously the main point of the Lego Movie, everyone's special. Everyone has this thing that makes them the special, right? You don't have to be the bad guy because you are the most important, amazing person in the world, right? It's obviously the main message. But then you get some side messages of, like, perfectionism isn't what's right for the world, because we need the imperfections in life to make things beautiful. If everything was perfect, nothing would be perfect, because it's all normal, right? And the Lego Movie does that and tells that story very well. Okay. I guess I did the first two parts there. Shit, we're 10 minutes in. All right, this is good. I actually like this. Third part. Movie theater's the best experience you can go to. That's that. Like I said, I've been talking about how movies convey emotion and can make people feel stuff and cry, laugh, be happy, be sad, be scared. All these emotions that us as humans can feel, we are able to be controlled by movies, by stories. We can feel this, and going to the movie theater, yes, popcorn drink may ring you up, $20 ticket, extra 14, you're $35 there, right? You get this feeling once you step into the theater, when the lights go down and the movie starts. You sit and you watch the screen and you feel as if you are there, living in this world, right? Feeling this sense of belonging, where with the set and the writing and the acting and how people talk, you feel like you're there, right? Which is obviously the point. But when you're with all these people who also feel like they're there, it's an immersive experience. And say you go to a sad movie, like La La Land per se. You go and you're in this theater, full theater with all these people, and the ending of the movie happens, right? And everybody, you're hearing and you're feeling the same emotion as most people in there are feeling as well, and you get the sense, and as you're feeling this, you go out, you walk out of the theater, and everybody's talking. Everyone's talking about, oh my gosh, that was great, that was good, that was amazing. And you look at people and you see, like, dang, these people are feeling what I was feeling. And that's really rare for people to feel the same as you around the same time, especially that you're near, right? Like, say I'm at a grocery store. I'm happy to be shopping, but there's another person who's like, I hate having to do this every week. And you're like, it's really not super common to feel the same and have the same reaction to things. And so movies being able to do that, make people laugh. Comedy movies laugh all the time. Superhero movies, you feel just like, wow, right? You feel this wow factor within when you're there, and you feel all these feelings, and you're immersed, and you're feeling the same as all these people. And that's why I believe movie theaters are the best experience for like $30. Because say you go to Get Air, you're paying like $22 for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I don't know the pricing, but you go, and that's just for you to get in alone, right? Like, say you and your friends go, and say you and two other people go, that's $66 in total, right? And so then you're like, dang. But you go to a movie, 3 people, say you all get a large popcorn to share, 3 large drinks, that's ringing you up about $7.21, 10, 30, 31, plus the tickets. Shit. No, wait. It's like 60. So you're saving $6, and you're getting this 2-hour experience where you also get to eat and drink and do whatever. And I think a lot of the main reason people aren't going to movie theaters anymore is because movie theater etiquette, yes, that exists, that is a real thing, is declining, right? People are on their phones during the movies. People are talking. People throw popcorn. People make remarks, and people get up all the time and go to the bathroom all the time, right? And you know, I can't sometimes when people get up and they go to the bathroom, I walk, like I don't walk. That's a weird thing to say. I look and I'm like I stare at them as they leave, because I'm like I couldn't imagine going to the bathroom in the middle of a movie. You know, like last time I did that was 2023 probably, and I just can't believe people are like, yeah, I want to go to the bathroom. I don't know. It's very odd. and people talk and kids talk and all this stuff, and it's just people are losing the love for the movie theaters because of all that, and it's unfair because, like I said, movie theater is one of the best experiences you can go to. Share emotion. It's not super pricey. Going alone to the movie theater, you still get this connection because other people there are there to do the same thing, see the same thing. They want the same things to happen as you do, right? And it's great. And if people just stopped going on their phones and talking and doing all this stuff, there's some movies where that is like, do it. Do that. Like the Minecraft movie. People, chicken jockey. People are screaming, holding up their flashlights, recording, throwing popcorn. You know, I don't necessarily agree with the throwing popcorn part because movie theater workers have to do that. But that's part of the experience. You get to go and you feel this reaction, this celebration to when a character says a line in a movie. When a character does an action. People were... There were signs. I can't remember if it was AR or not. But there was a sign that said, please do not cheer when Shadow's friend dies. Forget her name. Obviously, I haven't seen that movie since it came out in theaters. But there were signs like, please do not cheer when this happens. And it's like a little girl dying. And people are celebrating because that's what happens. And that's what happens in the game. And people love when what they want to happen happens. Right? And I think that's truly one of the best parts about life is that we all have these emotions. And we all get to feel them. And there are things that can bring out these emotions willingly. Like movies, like music, like stories, like artwork. All of them can do that. And I think sometimes we take that for granted. Right? Like, I wish after movies were done, people would talk to just anybody. Be like, what'd you think of that? What did you think? What did you think? And I think that's one of those things. It's just like, it's not going to happen, but I can hope it does. And maybe one day, some random stranger will come up to me and be like, what'd you think of that? And I'll tell them, oh, I thought that was a great movie. Oh, not my type of thing, but I'm so happy I went. So happy I felt the emotions. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. No, if you were able to sit through this, congrats, because it's 18 minutes long. I don't expect anybody to, but that's one yap. I think my next yap is going to be about perspective. So, you ready for that? That might take a while. Peace!